Today I'm making up. I had only decided to tape the Daf Yomi starting on Brachas Daf Gimel because when I taught Brachas Daf Beis, which was Sunday morning, later on that day we went to the LAC Umar Shas and I was inspired to tape them. So I'm going back now and teaching Brachas Daf Beis, so we have a complete set of the blot. If somebody wants to start with from Masechta Daf Beis. So, Torsha Bal Peh begins Me'emasai Kor Neshma Ba'arvin. We are plunked right into the sugya of Kriyas Shema. We don't say there is a mitzvah of Kriyas Shema. And what is the mitzvah? Is it one mitzvah? That means you say it day and night. And is that considered one mitzvah? Is it considered two mitzvahs? Is Machlokes, Ramban and Rambam. Whether or not it's considered one mitzvah or two mitzvahs. That is, if you say Kriyas Shema at night, it's one mitzvah, and in the morning it's another mitzvah. Or to fulfill the mitzvah of Kriyas Shema, you have to say both night and day. But we don't start with the fact that there is a mitzvah of Kriyas Shema and how do you fulfill it, but rather we start with a halacha of when do we say Kriyas Shema. And the Mishnah says, Mishasha Kohanim Nichnosim Lechol Betrumason, that the beginning period starts when the Kohanim, who are Tameh, can now, at the end of the day, what's called Erev Shemesh, which we're going to say really is Tzesa Kerchavim, now they can eat their Truma, and it extends until Ad Sofa Ashmura Harishona, until the end of the first Ashmura, which is, we divide the night up into either 3 parts or 4 parts. The Gemara will discuss that later on. Let's say, according to Rabbi Yezer, it's a third part for Shlish, says Rashi. So if, let's say, March 21 or September 21, where the day and night are exactly equal, they're the vernal and the autumnal equinox, when both the day is 12 hours, the night is 12 hours. Of course, as we move towards the summer, the day gets longer, and then as we move from summer to winter, the day gets shorter, and then when we move from autumn to winter, the nights get longer, until there might be a 14-hour night and 8-hour day, versus in the summer where which is the shortest, on December 21 is the longest night of the year. It might be 14 hours. So then, therefore, a halachic hour would be that period of time divided by 12. That's why an hour might be an hour and 10 minutes. That's when we have our sha'os, like 3 hours of the day, 4 hours of the day. When do we daven shachris? When do we daven mincha? A halachic zman is divided between the period of time that either the day or night is by either 12. Now, the only time it's exactly 1 hour is, as I said, March 21 and September 21. And then they would be, each halachic hour would be the same as a regular hour. But here, the Gemara Rabbi Yezer has divided the night up into 3 parts. So 12 hours would be 4 hours. So let's say it's from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock on a night, which is exactly 12 hours. Now, what do you mean the Kohanim eating their truma? So, if somebody's tameh, let's say they touched a sheretz or a nevela, so they're tameh for 1 day. They go to the mikveh. They're called a tvul yom. Now, a tvul yom can eat meiser. Before you went to the mikveh and you were tameh, you couldn't eat meiser. Now that you went to the mikveh and you're called a tvul yom, that means you've had tefillah during the day. You could go to 10 o'clock in the morning, you're a tvul yom, you can now eat meiser. But you can't eat truma until what's called Erev Shemesh, till the day ends, which we say Tzesa Kerchavim. That's the time when the Kohanim can eat their truma. Now, if you're tameh mace, you're tameh for 7 days. And in order to get tahara, you need to be sprinkled on the 3rd and 7th day with paraduma ashes mixed with water. And then, after you had gone to the mikvah on the 7th day, you were tvul yom again. Then that night, you could eat truma, and you could eat kodshim. Same thing with sheretz, tumas nevela. The tum of Erev Shemesh, which goes away, at night you can eat everything, truma and kodshim. Except for tumas that emanate from your body. For example, we just finished Masechta Nida yesterday. Today we started Masechta Brachos. So the tumah that emanate from your body, like a zav, a male who has 3 seminal emissions even in 1 day, becomes a zav. And he's tameh for 7 days. He has to go through counting Zayin Nikim where he sees no emission. A zava, it's a female who has blood on 3 days in a row during her 11 Yemei Zivus period. there's a 7-day period of where you're a nida, and followed by 11 days of zivus. And if she sees bleeding in 3 days in a row during her zivus period, she's a zav gdola. Similarly, a metzora or a yoledes, she gives birth, so she's tameh for 40 days for a male and 80 days for a female. Now that tuma is different. For a male, it's 7 days followed by 33 days of what's called Dmei Torah, that even if she sees blood, she's not tameh to have relations. Our halacha today is different because we treat each blood like you're a zav gdola, but it would be 7 plus 33, which is 40 days. And for a female, it's 14 plus 66 days, which is 80 days. And then on day 41, day 81, you would bring korbanos. So a zav, zava, mitzorni yoletis, besides the 7 days where they have to be kant zainikim, go to the mikvah and have erev shemesh, on their 8th day, they have to bring korbanos. And then they can eat kotchim. They can eat truma the night, once they have erev shemesh, but kotchim they can only eat the next day after they bring korbanos. So, Rabbi Eliezer connects when you can say Kriya Shema when the Kohanim first can eat their truma. V'chachamim oimrim ad chatzois. Chachamim say no, it doesn't stop. They don't disagree regarding when you can start saying Kriya Shema. It seems that they're not arguing with that, but they're arguing with when you stop. That means they divide the night and you say only until half the night is over. So if the night was a 12-hour night, at midnight, 6 hours into the night, you couldn't read Kriya Shema anymore. So the question is, what do they hold? We'll see. The Gemara will deal with that. Rabbi Gamliel Omer ad sheyaleh amud hashachar. That you can say Kriya Shema. They're also not arguing that you can start by Tzeisa Kochavim, when the Kohanim eat their truma, but it extends until the morning. Until Alos HaShachar, until you first to see this first streaming of light. When the sun comes above the horizon, that's called Netzach Chama. That's about an hour to an hour and a half after Alos HaShachar. Alos HaShachar, when you first see the beginning light, that's the period of Alos HaShachar. The Gemara is going to tell us really that the Chachamim hold like Rabbi Gamliel, that you can say Kriya Shema all night. It's just they make a gzeira that because we don't want you to miss it, you only get the chatzos. And there's other dinim that extend to the morning, which they make the same gzeira. And that's, the Mishnah will tell us, Umaisu bo banu b'mesa Mishnah. Rabbi Gamliel's sons came from a wedding, Amru lo, and they told their father, Lo karinu hashma, we haven't yet read Kriya Shema. And they had come l'chora after chatzos. If Alos HaShachar has not occurred, you're still chayiv to read Kriya Shema. Because of course he held that the chiyuv of Kriya Shema went until Alos HaShachar. The lozu buvad amru. Not just on this halacha. Kol masha amru chachamim ad chatzois. Anytime we see Chazal say ad chatzois, because we'll see, for example, until when can you eat the Korban Pesach? So there as well, the din is on Alos. But Chachamim also said, no, you must eat it by chatzos, because they were worried a person will be misrashel, they'll be lazy, and they'll end up forgetting. So, and they might lose out on that mitzvah saseh. So they say, stop doing it by chatzos. Kol masha'acham chatzos, really mitzvahs not she'alam shachar. And the Gemara's example is hekter chalavim vevorim. So when you have a korban, let's say it's a korban shlamim, or a chatas or noshim, you only shecht it in the day. There's no shechita at night. You shecht the day, do kabbalah sadam, you receive the blood in a vessel, and you do zrika sadam. The bailim have kapar, you can already eat the meat. If it's shlamim, you can eat the meat. Anyone can eat it. Klal Yisrael, as long as you're Torah. Chatas and noshim, only kohanim can eat it. An ola can't be eaten by anybody. But by a chatas, an osham, and a shlamim, the limbs and the innards, which are not eaten, are thrown up on the mizbeach. For example, the chelav alakloyos, the chelav alaksom, the various prohibited fats, the chalavim, are burnt all night. And really you have until the morning. So, hekter chalav avar mitzvahs not she'al amud hashachar. V'chol ha'necholim liyom echad mitzvahs not she'al amud hashachar. As long as you can eat it for one day. So, for example, a regular shlamim can be eaten for 2 days. But a specialized shlamim, like a toda, which you have to bring if, for example, you were taken out of prison, or you were healed, or you went on a trip, and you came home safely. There, you have to bring the same kind of animal, a korban shlamim, but you have to bring 40 loaves. as well. Now, who's going to eat all this, especially you only have one day? So the Netziv tells us that because you want to be mispar same, that you were saved, so you have to invite a lot of people, otherwise whatever's left over is considered noiser. It's a lav to leave over noiser. If you eat a kazayas of noiser, you get kores. So anything that really the Evorim and Ptorim had to be burnt at night, but limkein lama we don't want to get to the chashash that maybe it's going to become noiser, so you have to burn it by chatzos. So it's one example that the Mishnah gives of a siyag, of a fence that the Chacham made around halacha. So they even though you may ikar adin from the din itself, you can go to the morning. They said no, you have to stop already from midnight. The Gemara is going to ask our question: Tana heicha koi. Where is this Tana that it jumps into the middle here and says, what is the time that we can read Kriya Shema? What about the whole ikar din of Kriya Shema? Right, Diktani Meimasai. V'su, Maishna the Tani Ba'ar Visperesha, listening to the Shachris Peresha. The Gemara is also bothered. Why did the Mishnah first start by asking us, when do you read it at night? Kriya Shema. Why don't we ask, when do we read it in the evening, in the morning? So Tana Kroi Koi, because the Tana, the author of this Mishnah, is following the Psukim. D'chsiv b'shoch b'chov kumecha. When are you supposed to read Kriya Shema? When you go down, when you sleep at night, and when you wake up. So v'hachik tani zman Kriya Shema d'shchiva emes. Really have to put in the words, when is the time of reading Kriya Shema at night? Misha shekvanim nechlosim lacho betrumosim. And then later on, another Mishnah will start talking about what time in the morning when you start reading Kriya Shema. That's one way the Gemara answers. Iboy Sim, if you want to give you another answer. Yolif mibriyosu shalolo. We learn it from the creation of the world. When does the new day in Jewish law start? It starts from the previous night. We say Vayer Vayivoker. So the calendar changes at night, not in the day. So therefore it makes sense that we read Kriya Shema first at night, then in the day. So Ihachi Sefer Diktori B'Shachar Mivarach Shtayim L'Fanev Akras L'Achrea. Later on, another Mishnah is going to say that the Kriya Shema had to be read before Shmoneh Esrei, and it had to be read with brachos before and after. So later on, the Mishnah is going to say in the morning we have two brachos in front of it, Yoitzer Or and Ava Rabbo, and a bracha afterwards, Gol Yisrael. Uva Erev Mevorach Shtayim L'Fanei Shtayim L'Achareh. At night we say Amariv Aravim and Ava Soilam. We say Gol Yisrael and the bracha Vashkivenu. So if you're telling me that you're supposed to start learning the laws of Kriya Shema at night first in the morning, why did the next Mishnah start with telling us about the Shachris and then Ma'ariv, listening to Arvis Bereisha? Just like in our Mishnah, where it started with the dinim of Ma'ariv, over there it also should start with the dinim of Ma'ariv. So the Gemara says it's a structural, stylistic thing. Tana Pasuk Ba'arvis, our Tana started with Ma'ariv, V'hadar Tani B'Shachris, and then he moved on to Shachris, Adakoi B'Shachris. While he's in Shachris, Porsh Mili to Shachris, V'hadar Porsh Mili to Arvis. He goes over the whole discussion of chakras, for example, what are the brachas that you have to say before and after, and then later on you go back to Ma'ariv. Omar Mar. The statement Omar Mar in the Gemara is always something where we had mentioned something, now we're going to go into it a little bit more in detail. We said that the time of Kriya Shema is when the Kohanim first teach Truma. Michte, Kohanim emes ko'achli Truma. When actually is that time? The Gemara says, Mishas Teisa Kochavim, when you see 3 stars. So the Gemara wants to know, listening Mishas Teisa Kochavim, why give me this strange answer of Nichnosim Lecho Betrumason, where if you're a Talmid Chacham and you might know that Kohanim eat it by Teisa Kochavim, but the average person, why not just say, when do you read Kriya Shema? Teisa Kochavim. So the Gemara says, it could have done that, but Milsa Agavorcha Kamashbalan. It wants to teach me other things along with that basic halacha, which is Kohanim emes ko'achli betruma mishas tzeisa kochavim. Now we learn 2 dinim, that Kriya Shema has to be read by tzeisa kochavim, and now I know the din. Then we say Herev Shemesh by Kohanim. When is it that they can eat their truma? It's not shkiyas achama. It's not bein hashmoshes. Rather, it's tzeisa kochavim. The hakamash v'lan the kapora loy ma'akva. And this, the way I discussed before, that by Zav Zava, Mitzor and Yoledis, that for Koch, to be able to eat Koch, not just Truma, but to be able to eat your share of Shlomim, or the Korban Pesach, which is an animal that's been brought as a Korban. How do I know that they don't need korbanos for Kohanim to eat truma. Kedetanya, uvo hashemesh v'taher. Bi hashimsho makvaso. The setting of the sun and the coming out of the stars is what's ma'akev, preventing the Kohen from eating melechel betruma. But ve'en kaparoso ma'akvaso melechel betruma. But there's no kapara required. Means this, there is a distinction. If somebody is tamei with a tumah that's not coming from his body, like a zava mitzoras or yoledes, but it's an external tumah, like you touched a sheretz, you touched a mace, you touched a nevela. That type of tumah, at night, you are now released from all prohibitions, and you can eat truma and kochim. You don't need kapora. In contradistinction to the case of zava, a mitzor and yoledes, that there they also need kapora, and Yom HaShmini they have to bring korbanos. Umimai asks the Mora, Dahayu vo hashemesh bi hashemesh, v'hai tar yoima. How do you know that it means the sun's going down and there's no more light? Dilma bias urahu. Maybe it means when the shemesh comes up in the day. Maybe he has to wait until the 8th day, and then only then can he eat truma. Umay v'tar gavra. And perhaps it also means when the Kohen went to the mikveh, which was already in the daytime, even before night, on that day, on the 7th day. Maybe that's when he can already eat truma. Amar Rabbi Rav Shilim came lemakra v'yitoyer. My v'toyer tor yuma means the day is over and the sun is set. The sun has come down, and now comes a new day. B'marava hadrab Rav Shilim lo shmilahu wasn't heard as a memra uboilu maboyai. And it was asked as a question. Who told you that when it says Bo Hashemesh and the sun goes down and becomes night, maybe maybe it means when the sun comes up. Or when it's still daylight and when the Kohanim are going to the mikvah on the 7th day. The Hadar Pashal of Brisa, that question was answered from a Brisa. Mediktani Brisa similar to Tzeitzah that how do we know that the Kohanim are eating truma? So we know that it's coming to reflect when the day is over. And the day is over. Okay. Something else that we mentioned in passing. I'll ask you a kasha. A different shiur. When poor people go into their neighbor's house to eat and to dip his bread in his neighbor's salt. Until the time that Suda ends. Seems to be that that's a different shiur that was given in our Mishnah. So, Seifa Vadei Pliga Masdis. So, the last part, which is Oimed Lipotim B'toch Sudoso, that certainly is arguing with our Mishnah, because our Mishnah said the first shlish, the first third, which is 4 hours into the night, certainly nobody sits in their Suda for 4 hours. So we know that part of the Mishnah that says, Oimed Lipotim B'toch Sudoso, that's arguing with our Mishnah. Our question is, Reisha Milema Pliga Masdis. When it says, when the Aniyim go in to eat, to dip their bread, is that a different shiur? Maybe that's the same as Seisa Kochavim. So the Gemara says, in fact, lo, Ani v'koin chad shiurahu. In fact, the Gemara right now is holding that those shiurim are the same thing. That Seisa Kochavim, when the Kohanim eat their truma, and when the Ani goes into his neighbor, it's the same time. The Gemara says, no, but it's not Sovra Minu. Me'emasai matchil likros kriyashma ba'arviz. When do we read Kriyat Shema and Ma'ariv? When people start eating their su'uda erev Shabbos. The Chachamim say no, it's Tzeisa Kochavim. Similar davar Tzeisa Kochavim. The Aval Bishein Raila davar, even though I don't have a full proof, Zeichel davar I have a pasuk. Shenemar v'nachnu osim b'malacha. This has to do with Nehemiah when they were building the base of Mikdash. And they hold spears, which defines the end of the day. And the word says, why did I have to add that pasuk? That when the sun sets, and what about maybe when it gets darker, So Torshma vayulanu alayla mishmar vayom alocha, that it's not night until Tzesek Chachavim. Because Salka Daitap, it comes out with all of this. The Oni uvnei Adam Chachi Uru, that when an Oni goes in to eat his meal, and Bnei Adam going to eat their meal is the same shear. So the Gemara wants to point out that it's not the same shear as the Kohanim eating their truma. Right? There's going to be no steer between Chacham and Rab Meir. In fact, we've determined that when the Ani eats his food and the Kohanim eat their food are two different cases. Is that so? Says the Gemara. Lo. We come back to say that no. When the Ani eats his food, when the Kohanim eat their food, it's the same shear. But who the Ani uvnei Adam lav chachira? But the Ani and the Kohen are a different shear than when the Bnei Adam eat their meal erev Shabbos. The Gemara is still going to ask the question: the Ani v'Kohen chachira? Is the time when the Aniyim eat and the Kohanim eat their truma the same? When do we first start reading Kriyat Shema? When the sun goes down, Erev Shabbos, and Shabbos starts. No, it's later. It's Tzesek Chachavim when the Kohanim eat. Which is even earlier, because they can't do tefillah except when it's still daytime. So Rabbi Yehuda says, what do you mean? How can you tell me that Kriyat Shema can be read when the Kohanim are toivel? Kohanim have to be toivel in the daytime. Another shita. So we see it's a different shear than Truma. Otherwise, there would be no machlekes between Rav Chanina. So Rav Achai, they give another shita when the majority of people go in to eat their meal. Rav Chanina, Hainu Rav Yoshua, we said there's no machlekes between Rav Chanina and Rav Yoshua. Elalav Shmamina comes out finally. Shiur de Ani Lachud, v'Shiur de Kohen Lachud. Shmamina. It's a different time. Means the Kohanim eats Tzesek Chachavim. The Ani probably eats earlier than that. However, the Gemara doesn't know. Heimi Nai Ma'ucher. Which one is later? Mistavi de Ani Ma'ucher. Must be that the Anim eat even after Tzesek Chachavim. The Amit de Ani Mugda. Maybe you'll tell me Ani is earlier, but then Rav Chanina and Rav Eliezer. Then there would be no machlekes. The price that we just quoted between Rav Chanina and Rav Eliezer. Elalav Shmamina, the Ani Ma'ucher, comes out that the Ani is later. Okay, Shmamina. Not really relevant to our discussions regarding Kriyat Shema yet. Amar Mar. Amar Rav Yehuda v'lo Kohanim bod yomim toivlim. Rav Yehuda says to Rav Meir, how can you say that the time of Kriyat Shema is when the Kohanim are toivil? Kohanim have to be toivil while it's still daytime. Shapir Kamal Rav Yehuda Rav Meir. And the Gemara says, that's a good kasha Rav Yehuda asked on Rav Meir. Rav Meir hachi ka'amarle. This is what Rav Meir will respond. Mi saris da'ano ben hashmoshos didcha kamina. There is a major machlokas between Rav Yehuda and other Tanoim, Rav Yosi, how long the period is time between Shkiyas Achama when the sun ball sets and Tzesek Chachavim. That's the period called Ben Hashmoshos. Ben Hashmoshos is Safek Yom, Safek Laila. We don't know whether it's day. We don't know whether it's night. Nafkamina might be if a child is born Friday, Ben Hashmoshos. So you would not be able to do Mila the following Shabbos, because we don't know. Maybe it was born Friday, maybe it was born Sunday. Now this period of Ben Hashmoshos, this period of doubt, how much is it? Rabbi Yehuda holds it's about an hour more, which is like our Shita, where the difference between Shkiyas and Tzesek Chachavim is about an hour and 10 minutes. There were other Shitas that the Rabbi Yosi held, it was Beherafayin. It was very quickly, right before Tzesek Chachavim. So Rav Meir is saying, who told you that I hold of your Ben Hashmoshos, where there's a long period of time between when the sun goes down and Tzesek Chachavim? I know Ben Hashmoshos Rabbi Yosi Kamina. Rabbi Yosi holds the Ben Hashmoshos like a second before Tzesek Chachavim. So according to that Shita, it's still partly day, and you could still go to the mikvah by the Kohanim. So maybe that time is a period of time where you could say Kriyat Shema. Because Rabbi Yosi Ben Hashmoshos Keref Ayin. Zeh nechnas v'zeh yotze v'yavshar lamod alav. Okay. Thank you very much.